Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It is Pro Wrestling Weekly. It's Tuesday. The panel is assembled. The Avengers are there. We're ready to go. We have a full complement back tonight. Throw up the fours for the camera, of course, lads. But here we go. We've got plenty to get through. It was a massive weekend of wrestling, I have to say. And even though it was such a trial to get through it all, it was really, really nice because it was a very high quality weekend of wrestling. Probably one of the most high quality weekends of wrestling that we've had in a long, long time, from what I can remember anyway, because everyone knocked it out of the park literally on every show. Not a whole lot to complain about. But we are going to be going through AEW All In. We're going to be taking a look at Evolution. We're going to be going through Saturday night's main event, and we're going to recap on Raw. And then we have a few other little bits and pieces in there we're going to talk about as well. So we have a hell of a lot to get through. So stick with us. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and hit that bell notification button. Make sure. And also, folks, if you are hitting the bell notification button to get notified, make sure you have all notifications on YouTube switched on as well, because they're messing us about these days. If you don't have that switched on as well, then you will not get notified for when we go live. So there you go. So we'll start off then anyway. Lads, how y'all doing?
Good.
Welcome back, Sean, from France.
Thank you very much. I am more than happy to be back home in my house, but also on the Upper Tier Podcast. And I want to commend Bren, Sean, and Niall for holding down the ship. For 2 weeks and I was gone, still pumping out great quality shows. I only wish I was able to be a part of it, but I'm more than happy that I was able to come home safe. And I'm very happy that my first podcast back is a pretty packed one.
You were still a part of it. You lit up the chat while you were away and stuff like that.
Lighting up the chat. It's like watching.
I was going to break into the Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac.
Yeah, that works. But it's like watching a game at home. It's not quite the same as being there. Chatting from a cabin in France isn't the same as being in my lovely room in Cavan and talking to my three mates about wrestling. So,
being a mere subscriber in the chat isn't the same as being on the panel. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
There we go.
Yeah.
Membership has its privileges. There you go. Right. Let's get into this. I think we'll start with All In because I think we all have to give a bit of props to this. That's for sure. Anyway, so let's start with All In. Let's go down through it. Don't necessarily want to go through it line by line the way we normally do it, but pick out bits as I go to you, lads, and see what you think and what you thought was good, what was bad. I want to start, and I know you guys are going to talk about Dustin Rhodes as well. But I felt this was kind of really, really special. This was a special moment, and it was nice to hear that it was 35 years ago that he wrestled stunning Steve Austin for the TV title on Turner Broadcasting 35 years ago. And the other day, then, he kind of fulfills the legacy by winning the TNT title, you know what I mean? So it goes to show you, the grind is real. I absolutely love Dustin Rhodes, lads. I've often said on the podcast, he's the Rhodes that I tend to go to, and that's all I'll say, and I won't say anything else. But yeah, let's kick it off from the top. Sean O'Rourke, give us your thoughts, break it down, let us know what you thought. If you want to take the women's stuff, the gauntlet, whatever way you want to do it, let's mix it up tonight a bit.
Yeah, sure. First of all, this was a phenomenal pay-per-view, and I think the three of you definitely agree with me on that. I can't think of a better pay-per-view in the past maybe 2 or 3 years that AEW has put on. It was just phenomenal from start to finish. I think I got to go with the most obvious choice, and that's the world title match. I think everyone was kind of sick and tired of Moxley's reign. I know I definitely was. And I can't think of anyone more perfect to defeat him than Hangman Adam Page. He has worked his arse off for the past year, banger match after banger match, pure quality. And this match was nothing short of amazing. I sat watching it in complete disbelief from the stuff that was happening, from the bed of nails to the bottles, and of course Darby Allin returning, which I definitely missed, and congratulations to him as well. He climbed Mount Everest, which I don't think we could do. We could give it a go, but I don't know how well that would go.
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain,
For
yeah.
me.
That's about as good as it'll get for us, maybe. Or the rock climbing wall and cool kids. Sean, you probably know what I'm talking about. That's probably as good as it gets. But no, this match was unbelievable, and dare I say, possibly one of the best title matches in AEW history for the world title match, definitely. And I'm excited to watch this match back again because I definitely will be. So yeah, great match overall.
Awesome. Bren, thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with Sean. I thought that main event was brilliant. However, I'm going to go to Dustin myself. I've been like yourself, Niall. I've been watching Dustin since the early 90s, all the way through to the 2000s. And actually, I believe he should have had a main event run in the WWE when he came back there in 2010. I think it was. He's outstanding. He seems to just get better. And this was definitely one of the most emotional moments in wrestling. It was just lovely to see. Look, for me, this pay-per-view, there's three standouts here for me personally. It was the reunion of Cope and I said Cope, Edge, and Christian. I thought that was brilliantly done. Loved that. I am Dustin 100%, but also the women's match, Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. I'm not a big Mercedes fan at all, but she was brilliant here. And Tony Storm, she's the best thing. She's the best thing in AEW. I am gonna bring a little bit of negativity here, though only a little bit. The only thing about this pay-per-view is it was too long. Now, as great as it was to watch, I just believe that AEW, like even you could see it in the crowd. The crowd were bored. They rarely got up out of their seats. And for me, AEW should be focused on smaller arenas, 3-hour max pay-per-views, and less specials. I think I said it earlier on in the group text. And that's the only drawback. In saying that, it was a really good pay-per-view. It was just too long. And I think that took away from it, because if you look at the women's casino as an example, there were times when that just seemed to have dragged a bit. And I think that was shorter than the men's. Similar enough. But look, very surprising. To me, the standout match is the Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné match. But the three moments for me was the ones I just mentioned. Overall, yeah, happy I watched it. It was just too bloody long.
Yeah, I think before we go to Sean, I mean, Dustin Rhodes being held aloft by the nephews and the Von Erichs in Texas in a ring, winning a TV title, 35 years from when it all began. It's just a surreal moment in time. It's when The Rock picks up the arm and the hair stand up on the arm. It was a hair stand up on the arm moment. And his post match press conference, I thought, was brilliant as well. He laid it out there exactly how much it meant to him. Got real emotional and stuff like that. Sean Mack.
I pretty much agree with Bren. I think the wrestling on the show was very, very strong. The show had highs and lows, but I think it was high when it needed to be high. I think the big marquee matches, that being Moxley, Page, Mercedes Moné, Tony Storm, and Okada, Omega, and I guess you could say Ospreay, Swerve in the books to an extent, all delivered massively, I think. Now, I do agree with Bren. It's not uncommon for me or anyone on the panel, or indeed anyone who's ever watched an AW show, to criticize it for being too long. Did you? This hasn't been brought up yet. I'm sure we will. But this show has beaten WrestleMania 35. For those of you who remember, that was 2019. That was Becky 2 belts.
Remember, I was there.
I stayed up for it from the kickoff to the final bell, and I got up for school about 2.5 hours later. Great memories. And I'll tell you, that was a great show. But I'll also tell you in the same sentence, it was way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long. And I feel the same about All In. And I understand the critics. People are saying, well, AEW don't do as many pay-per-views as WWE. Well, they do now, but back then they didn't. They don't have a pay-per-view every other month. So when they have a pay-per-view, they want it to feel significant, and they want it to make you feel like you're getting bang for your buck. You're getting your money worth. Because imagine they do solo pay-per-views and you go to a pay-per-view and it's like an hour long. You'd be fuming. I understand that. And I think if any shows can go maybe a hair longer, now not 5 hours and 57 minutes longer, but maybe a little longer than the others, I don't mind it being all in. But there's so much length that is too much length. And they went over and above. As you know, I was in beautiful France. I didn't get to see this live. It was happening on the ferry as I was going home. I turned on the fight feed the day after, and it came up 5 hours and 57 minutes. And I almost went, oh my God, that can't be real. Surely it's ads. Surely there's like, no, 5 hours and 57 minutes with no break in the action at all. But saying that, a really, really, really good show. I think I'll bring Ospreay and Swerve against the Bucks. This is a very, very big match for both men, or both teams, I should say. The Bucks had their EVP titles on the line, and Ospreay very stupidly threw up himself and Swerve to never challenge for the world title for an entire calendar year. The last time that some big name in AEW said, if I lose a match, I won't challenge for the belt for an X amount of time, they left and went to WWE. So I felt the writing was on the wall for Swerve and Ospreay when this came up, especially because they're not very popular with each other. But they managed to get it out of the bag. I talk about length of this show. The Young Bucks entrance, I thought was pretty cool. My God, it went on. And I get that was part of the thing, because we're meant to be pissed off, but Jesus Christ.
The two boys were in the ring stretching and running and trying
Yeah.
to stay warm.
Ospreay was doing, yeah.
yeah, they were doing jumping jacks and all sorts of stuff.
Ospreay doing the mountain climbers on the floor while he's just like checking his watch.
Isn't that the fuckery of the Bucks? Isn't this what they do? Like, you know,
Yeah.
this is them. They knew what way the match was going to go, obviously. So they said they'd get it in at the front end rather than at the back end. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I have to admire that, but I think the match was absolutely brilliant. There were so many moments where I thought either team had this, and I'm very happy that Swerve and Ospreay won, because I hate the Young Bucks, but also I think it would create a lot of fuckery if either of them were banned from facing for the world title for a year. But also, AEW's website, the roster page, has EVPs, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. So whether or not the Young Bucks have lost the titles, and now Swerve and Ospreay are EVPs, or they've just lost the titles, I don't know. But I think that's a very interesting development. But no, what an absolutely brilliant, breathtaking tag team match on a very good, albeit excruciatingly long wrestling show.
Yeah, Gilly's in. Some people I know weren't happy with Dustin Rhodes winning because they thought it was too random and Fletcher deserved to win more. Fletcher's win will come down the line off Dustin probably, and it will mean much more. So it's very, very clever the way they do it. That's just a lack of understanding. But I can understand what people's thoughts were on it as well. And absolutely hoping for a swift recovery for Adam Cole. A little bit concerned there because the send-off seemed like it was kind of an end kind of thing. That's how it felt. I hope not. But hopefully he can go off and recover and stuff like that, because we're all huge Adam Cole fans without a shadow of a doubt. You knew that AEW wasn't going to finish until Saturday night's main event finished. Absolutely. And Keith saying it was like a Robert De Niro movie. I never thought it would end, basically, yeah. Do you know the funny thing about it, though? And we talk about the length of these and stuff like that. I watched this live. So for me, it kicked off at 8 o'clock and it finished at about 1-ish or so, whatever it was. 1:30, whatever it was, anyway. And do you know something? I even went in and I watched the post pressers and stuff like that. No, it didn't feel that long to me. I was switching between that and Saturday night's main event. And as I was watching it, because I was enjoying it, I know you spoke about the highs and the lows and the gauntlet matches and stuff like that. But even the gauntlet matches, they didn't drag it into the dregs. I get what you mean about the crowd. And the crowd being a little bit flat at times and then sometimes came alive. But that Texas crowd is a tough crowd as well. It's not easy to work within the confines of that and stuff like that and all. But there's so much of this that I enjoyed. Like to see Shelton Benjamin out there with Bobby Lashley doing their thing with the Hurt Syndicate and all was really, really cool. And I think I just read the other day, Shelton Benjamin, was he on our list last week where he turned 50? And look at him, like. And he's out there, unbelievable, like, you know, Bobby Lashley. And it was really, really cool. And as you said, then Edge coming out. And I was waiting for one of you to mention Edge doing his full entrance while his mate's getting battered in the ring. This seems to be a thing that's happening these days. And I don't know when you were watching it, did you think? Remember when he went to the far side and then he ran back into the middle? I thought he was going to go to the other side as well. I thought he was going to do the full thing. So it was weird, your mate's getting killed and like you're doing laps of Stevens Green Park or something, you know what I mean? Yeah, I want to get me full entrance in. So that was kind of funny. I really loved that, look, we give out about the books and the super kicks and everything else and all that kind of stuff and how everything is overplayed and stuff like that. I thought this match was excellent. And that sequence of moves in the middle of the match, remember when they were all hitting everything and it was absolute chaos? It just showed 4 athletes in there to be able to follow that sequence of events and not get lost. We spoke about it on a pay-per-view, I think a few weeks ago. Remember, was it Money in the Bank or one of them? I think it was, whatever it was. Anyway, that sequence of events and stuff like that. But to keep that sequence of events and to keep it locked down and it doesn't go off script and someone doesn't miss a beat or anything like that, absolute phenomenal. There was a sequence of moves there, like, that probably was 3, 4, 5 minutes long, and not one of them missed a beat, and it was awesome, to watch, really awesome to watch. Okada and Kenny Omega it's a special relationship. Sometimes we're not big into the Kenny matches because sometimes you get the shithousery in it and stuff like that. Sometimes we're not mad into the Okada matches because sometimes they can be a little bit dull depending on who he's up against. But when Okada and Omega come together, it's real wrestling royalty, isn't it? For sure. Tony Storm, I was so happy to get the result. I thought if Mercedes was going to go over, it was going to be a disaster. I would have absolutely lost my shit. But the right decision was made. Obviously, someone's listening, and that's the way it should be and stuff like that. And then, of course, the main event, Moxley and Hangman Page, talking about earning a belt. This man has certainly earned that belt at this stage, hasn't he? So absolutely unreal. Too many concussion issues with Adam Cole. Yeah, it's we say everyone has that bum card, don't they? And that's why they have to be careful what they do and how they look after themselves. Even though Tony Storm won, I still think it's pretty stupid that Mercedes kicked out of 3 Storm Zeros in a row. Yeah, and there was a lot of that there as well. And I think actually when I was talking about that sequence of events in the Swerve Ospreay Bucks match, the Bucks came in and I think they hit 2 Canadian destroyers in that. I'm sure you've seen it. And I was thinking, that's a finisher all day. These lads are lashing finishers out there in the middle of these sequences and stuff like that. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But when they hit those Canadian destroyers and stuff like that, and then Ospreay just jumps up, how is your mind like Marla? How do you even know where you are when they hit these things? Absolutely phenomenal. And I just thought as a card, it was unbelievable. As we said, there was highs and lows, but for me, the lows weren't too lows. For me, it was just a total enjoyable festival of wrestling all evening, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I found myself that I didn't want to leave the room. Like sometimes you might turn around and go, right, I need a break from this. I'll go down and get a sandwich and a cup of tea or something, and I'll just pass on the women's casino gauntlet match or the men's. And no, I was straight back into it. I didn't want to miss any of it. Like, as I said, even after I was floating between Saturday night's main event and the post-show press conferences and stuff like that and all, and I just thought this is one of these times where they get it right. And this is one of these times, if they mimic this more and they follow this a little bit more, we could see healthy competition develop the way we talk about it and stuff like that. Sometimes they just get it right. And this was one of those times that they got it right. So, phenomenal show. Hats off to AEW. Hats off to Tony Khan. Before us are sitting here, we can't believe we're saying some of this stuff, you know what I mean? But it was just exceptional from start to finish. It built really, really well. There was a really good crowd in terms of numbers at it as well. And but as you said, it's just a weird setting as well, because the crowd as well seems to be so bright with those laser kind of spots that they use, that lighting. Whereas, like when you get the lighting, normally they dim it down for the crowd and then the focus is all on the ring. But if you're watching an AEW show, the focus is right around and into even you can look 20 rows back on the far side, on the hard cam side and stuff and all. So it was phenomenal. Look, the business, setup looked class, matches, the booking, everything else. I think there's very little I could complain about here, to be honest. If anyone wants to add anything else before we move off, and then we'll move off on to Saturday night's main event.
I liked how they honored the original Texas Deathmatch rules a bit better.
Yeah.
I remember when the first one in AEW was ever announced, I found a video of Dory Funk Sr. talking about the rules of a Texas death match, the fact that you had to get a pinfall or submission, and then once that happened, the referee would start a 10 count. Like small stuff like that really helped, and I liked how they implemented that to a certain degree here. A lot of the times, it just kind of felt like maybe slightly more hyper-violent death matches. I will say the spot of Hangman getting Moxley in the triangle and stabbing his head with the fork was absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Because it came out right away. It wasn't even like...
Yeah.
But it came with the territory. He literally had
He
to
was
kill Moxley to win.
He was bloodied in less than 5 minutes, less than 5 to 8 minutes. Like,
Must
but
have
I think
been
we've
his-
come to expect that with Mox, though, right? Every
Yeah.
time he has a match, he's gonna bleed, which I think kind of devalues the whole blood kind of thing as well. So,
Well, yeah. In a Texas
I-
deathmatch, not so much, but in other cases, yeah, I think
but
so.
the fact that he
Yeah.
does it so
It's
consistently,
the norm. It's the norm.
yes,
And
and it
that's the
shouldn't be.
problem. Yeah. Whereas we want, like, if that wasn't the norm, then the other night would have been real shock value and in
Yes.
the right position, because as Sean said about it being a Texas death match, that's perfectly where it
Absolutely,
fits
yeah.
and stuff like that and all. Yeah, it was fairly gruesome and stuff like that and all. But as we said, it fitted the situation, that's for sure and all. Right. So let's go into Saturday night's main event. Let's talk about this. And obviously, we wish Seth Rollins well in his recovery with the knee injury again. Obviously, a tough one. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, because I want to kind of want to focus. We can chat later about this whole spider's web with Seth Rollins in the middle, and obviously then they pivot to Roman Reigns. We seen last night. We'll talk about that as well, but we'll talk about it later on and what people think and get your thoughts on it. Sean, you've been quiet for the last couple of minutes. You kick us off. Saturday night's main event.
Yes. Yeah, I thought this was a great show. The Randy Orton Drew McIntyre match, in my opinion, definitely delivered. I don't think these men have ever missed when they've faced off with each other, and I think this match was no exception whatsoever. Still don't know why Logan Paul is in WWE, but we'll not complain. We'll not go into that. We also want to wish Mr. Jelly Roll a speedy recovery after taking a brutal Claymore kick. Hopefully he won't be out for too long. I know he has a match on SummerSlam, so we wish him a speedy recovery. Definitely.
Took it like a champ.
He did. He sold it really well, and I have to give it to him. Yeah, I have to give it to him. He did really well.
Very good.
And obviously, we kind of have to take it on the chin, because it seems to
He did.
it's kind of a norm now. We have celebrities in WWE. It seems that this is going to be the way forward, so I think we kind of have to get used to it.
How do we feel about it before we move off that point? Is there times? I mean, obviously we've been very vocal about our friend. We're not going to mention him tonight, that hangs out with Cena and stuff like that. But I mean, in general, how do we feel about it? Does it fit at times if you're running a show in a certain place where there is a certain star there who is a wrestling fan and is interested and kind of wants to be involved? Like the Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico. We've had Jelly Roll here now, obviously Logan Paul and stuff like that. And I really like the build up to it as well, where Logan Paul came out and he was saying, this guy shouldn't even be in our world and all. There's talking about like as if he's a 20-year veteran wrestling kind of thing and all, and he's a WWE board member, insider nearly kind of thing, and it was really cool. And then Orton coming out and interrupting him, and all that was pretty cool in the build up to it. But what's our general feeling about it? I mean, this is sports entertainment, isn't it? And this is what we have.
Well, it's what kicked it off. WrestleMania 1 is the foundation of everything that we have today. And WrestleMania 1 was driven by the mixture of pop culture and wrestling. For me, it's about time and place. Like, for example, the celebrity general manager era, a lot of the time that was a pain in the ass. But when you got somebody like Jericho and Bob Barker, it was golden. It was perfect. And I disagree with Sean. I think Logan Paul is brilliant. I think he's very good. He's excellent. But look, for me, it's time and place. There's definitely a time for it and a place for it, as long as they don't overdo it like they did when They did the A team and all that on.
Yeah, I think if they're willing to do it and there's a level of respect there for the business, it's not a piss take and stuff like that. Like I don't want to see guys coming in taking Linda McMahon stunners or anything like that off Stone Cold. You know what I mean? But if guys are willing to put themselves out there and take a Claymore or take whatever it is, I think it benefits them in a big way and stuff like that. So long as it's not, I mean, obviously with the shows the way they're constructed now, and they've gone back to the 2 hours for the TV shows and stuff like that, there's a certain percentage of time available as well, you know. Sean Mack, what you thinking?
I'm a bit mixed on it, but I feel with Jelly Roll, I have a bit more trust with him than I would if I had he who shall not be named.
Fiend.
Yeah,
Oh,
his name sounds like Schmavis Schmott, and he's a gobshite. But Jelly Roll is a legitimate fan. He's dropped a shit ton of weight, and he took that Claymore like I was saying, as a champ. He bumped and he sold. And I think this is a genuine passion project for him. And I think like if he's serious about it and he actually gives it a go and he has respect, I don't see how it's an issue, because you have to remember SummerSlam is a big 4 PLE next to Mania, the Rumble, and Survivor Series. Yeah, and they want to bring in new fans, especially because it's a 2-night thing. Adam Pearce even said it on Raw when he was announcing the women's match. It's a 2-night SummerSlam. The numbers have to be bigger, has to be a bigger blockbuster, has to be a bigger show. So bringing in big names like Jelly Roll will help. And as I said, he bumped, he's dropped weight. Sure, I was giving out about Bad Bunny. Had no idea who he was, thought his music was shit, didn't know why he was getting the match at WrestleMania, and then I absolutely fell in love with him. I was going to say I was heckling Johnny Knoxville. I was behind that man from day one. I was kind of, I'd say, partly against Travis Scott, and then very much against Travis Scott. But the thing is, if they care, and it's not just a way of them to make money or plug their album or their movie or their TV show or anything, I think it can be fun. But it does feel, I saw people say Drew McIntyre this time last year was in the hottest feud in the company with CM Punk. And at SummerSlam, they had a match that was very good. Not quite as good as their other matches, particularly Hell in a Cell, but very good. So for him to be downgraded to a tag team match with Logan Paul and also Jelly Roll, I understand how people can feel that's very bad and not a good representation of the company, that instead of relying on their own, established guys, they have to bring in a country rapper to come in. But if Jelly Roll tries and Jelly Roll gives it a go, I think we'll give it a go. And I think he's in there with 3 very good guys that can carry him to a good match. And he's teamed with Randy Orton. So
he can also do a whopper chokeslam.
Yeah, did you not see? He laid out.
Remember the chokeslam he did?
Yeah, it's SummerSlam.
So I'm all for Jerry Roll. Who's Jerry Roll? Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
It's probably his real name.
I think, I think if it's okay for Randy Orton to do this, I think it's okay for Drew McIntyre to do this, And I think with Drew, where he's had a couple of hot feuds and stuff like that, and stuff that's brought us on a bit of a journey, and as we said last year with CM Punk and stuff like that, 2025 has kind of been quite an indifferent year for him. And it's no harm to not downgrade yourself, but just bring it down slightly to build it again into something. And you can do that by having maybe a fun match on a 2-day biggest party of the summer PLE. Why not? What else are we looking at here? Naomi attacking Jade Cargill. Obviously, instigated the brawl to set up the match that happened, of course. And we will get to talk about that as well, as always. Solo and Jimmy. Jimmy with the corkscrew, lads. Jimmy wants to start wrestling again all of a sudden. Talk to me about Jimmy's corkscrew. Big guy.
It was class. This is brother versus brother, and it was to me, this was match of the night for Saturday Night Main Event. I loved every bit of this. I thought the boys were great. The ending was very creative as well. The roll up with the big leg through the rope, very cool. But yeah, I mean, look, if you look at Jimmy and Jay's match at WrestleMania versus Solo and Jimmy now, it's night and day, 2 different things. And to me, this was match of the night. And Jimmy, like you said, moving around like he was Will Ospreay, was absolutely class. Enjoyed every second of this match.
Yeah, I'm really adhering myself at the moment to Solo Sikoa. There's just little things he's doing at the moment that I'm really liking. Even the attack. Remember the attack when the boys were in the Jeep by Jacob, and he's like dragging him out through the window, and he's falling back in, and he's dragging him out. But they're making it look like as if, as if it was a real row on a road, like a road rage thing, as opposed to a cleanly polished wrestling kind of thing with a Jeep in the background. It was real rough and ready, and it was just so cool. Like, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm liking this shithousery version of Solo Sikoa, kind of like, it's nearly kind of goofy but serious but nasty, but kind of really cool. And I say with Jimmy, if Jimmy keeps on letting these little fires out of these boxes like that, corkscrew and stuff like that, we're gonna have to reassess our thoughts on Jimmy Uso, as we might end up with main event Jimmy Uso. Who knows? Let's see what happens here, I think up next, LA Knight defeating Seth Rollins. This was kind of weird and heartbreaking at the same time, and to see him go down with the knee injury. I still find it strange after going through a knee injury like that back in 2015 or whatever it was, to put that kind of move set together with that kind of endurance on the knee that's probably already weakened and stuff like that is kind of, I would have thought a clever wrestler might steer away from that, having a career changing injury back then, and it was, again, that one, if you remember, we were at the show in Dublin, was such a simple one. It was like just a flip, hit the mat, and the knee went, and boom, and he hadn't even taken the weight of, I think it was Kane, wasn't it, in the match? He hadn't even taken the weight of Kane, and
but wasn't it the same? I read online that it was the same. It was the Osei moonsault that injured him the last time when he was against Jinder Mahal. It was the same. Loin salt. It was the same kind of move. So it's very sad. Some people are out there are saying it's a work. I don't know. I think it's legitimate, and it's very sad. But I think I totally agree with you. There's no way somebody as clever as him should be doing those moves. Now look, wrestlers get injured. Obviously, he wants the best. He wants to give us the best product. But yeah, no, it was very sad.
I don't know how anyone could think it's a work. This is a guy who's at the forefront of this new faction with Heyman. Why would they want to take him out of the scene unless there's personal stuff going on in his life and stuff like that and all? And I just don't see that being the case, because if that was the case, they would have had a ready-made someone to roll in there, because the boys are kind of just there now with Heyman, and we're going to discuss what's going to happen there, of course. But we'll move on. First of all, Goldberg having the second longest match of his career at Saturday night's main event. I have to say, I enjoyed it. I indulged. I didn't like the way they went to the ad breaks and fucked his promo, his send-off promo, that he was talking for 3 minutes, but we only really got a minute of it. I thought it was a little bit fuckery, and I know our good friend up in Calgary had thoughts on it and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that later as well, as you would expect. But I thought, Jesus, skip one ad break and give the guy 3 minutes, regardless of what you think. It was kind of a kicker. Like,
in fairness to that, I will say, apparently, as you can probably imagine from watching it, LA Knight was not meant to beat Seth, and the match got cut short significantly. So the last 40 or so minutes of Saturday Night's main event had to be changed. Yeah. And by the time Goldberg was making his speech, that was the end of the show, scheduled show. Because NBC is the thing. I don't know what show's on after Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night's main event. They say Saturday Night Live in the opening thing. Like, this isn't Saturday Night Live has been cancelled. That's why I have it in my head. So Saturday Night's main event ends at a finite time. And I didn't have the utter displeasure of getting to sit through all the ads, because I caught this the day after, and I can't remember the guy on YouTube, a saint, pretty much should make patron saint of Ireland, had the timestamp for all the ad breaks. So I went to my notes app on my phone, I wrote down the timestamps, then as soon as an ad break hit, scrolled through back to the action. It was like watching Netflix the day after, where it just goes ad, not even ad break, black for 2 seconds, back to the thing. But I will say about Goldberg, I think for what it was, I just like you, Niall, I really liked it.
Yeah. Big up, Tyler. Welcome to the chat. I think it's your first time in there. Kansas City Chiefs fan, I presume. Thanks for joining us. Drop in the chat there any comments or questions around like that. There's talks of tribal combat at SummerSlam. Jacob Fatu versus Solo US. Jacob Fatu is just insane. That stare down with Tala was just
It was so good.
Yeah, Keaton, I'm loving Solo's facials where he's on the mic pulling a promo. It cracks me up. Yeah, he's absolutely deadly at the moment. Said injured, yeah, they're talking 6 to 9 months. That's what I heard. Backstage probably wants to push Braun Breaker to top of the card. Absolutely, but they're going to have to do it say, well, big up, Romy. Thanks for joining us, bro. Good to see you. Disgrace that they cut Goldberg's speech. Yeah, it really was. Like, you know, man, it was really cool the way they did it as well, because you got the feeling with what happened with Seth Rollins' match. I wondered did they get Goldberg and push him back maybe to the other side of the arena to another locker room, because his walking seemed to take forever as well, you know, walking in with the guys and stuff like that. But yeah, it was emotional at the end and stuff like that and all, and have all those ex-guys in there and stuff and all. It was a pretty cool moment and a fitting way for him to go out, you know.
Stacked lineup for his entrance. You see the people that were escorting him out. He had Doug Dillinger, he had Ernest Cat Miller, he had Josh Barnett. I had to look twice. I wasn't sure if that was him or not, and it turned out it was.
Yeah. No, it was very, very, very cool. Very, very cool.
And the good news about the speech being cut short is that someone uploaded the rest of it, the whole thing on YouTube, so you can go and watch it there. Yeah, bad NPC.
Yeah, I kind of when I seen this happening, I felt like, remember what happened with Sting as well when he was leaving AEW. Remember, they fucking getting like 60 seconds or something. Like it was insane. I'm thinking, here's a guy who's been wrestling probably for 40 odd years or whatever it is. You're giving him 60 seconds to run it out, like, you know, like it was just a bit. I thought it was a bit bad form, but that was Saturday night's main event in the books. Where am I going now? I suppose we're going Evolution, aren't we? We'll go Evolution. We're taking a chronological sequence. This is Sean. Look at Sean. Sean's getting all hyped up for it. Romy, I'm just glad I don't have to see another Goldberg match.
Never say never.
He went out with a good one. So let's give a little bit of props to a good, you know, for Heart for Life. Let's go. Right, let's talk Evolution. Sean, kick us off. Pick it out here. Tell us what you want to talk about, what you liked. I think I liked all of it, really. You know, there wasn't a lot to dislike, to be honest.
I'm quite the same. I loved all of it, but I think I got to go for the obvious one. Naomi cashing in. Nobody expected this. I don't think anyone. I was looking at all over Twitter, different predictions and stuff, and I think I might have seen one or two who had a feeling this might happen. But me, I definitely did not expect this. So as soon as her music hit, my eyes just went wide. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. First of all, Rhea and Io, their match was absolutely brilliant. Anytime those two women have crossed paths, it's always been a brilliant match. And I think they said, was it Rhea has never beat Io before? And that still stands. Still stands. Brilliant. Which is pretty cool. And I think it was a brilliant idea because it didn't make either woman look bad in the end. Naomi cashing in. Rhea kind of got to keep her side of, you know, I haven't beat Io, and Io got her side. She might have lost the title, but both women still looked great. I think it's so obvious Naomi deserved it. She really did.
The crack of that case off her head,
Jesus,
was just insane. Just the echo off it when it hit her, was like, oh my God.
My TV wasn't even up loud, and you'd think it was with the noise of it.
Yeah, and this was kind of a cash in where she kind of had to work. She had to kind of work fairly hard for this because the two girls were still there. So after cracking Io with the case, then she had to go in and deal with Rhea Ripley as well. And then, you know, when Naomi had won, of course, then there was a kind of a moment in the ring there with Rhea and Io, because we probably called the tag team Rio if you wanted, yeah. But Io and Rhea, you know, best of enemies kind of thing. These girls have been going head to head. And all of a sudden, the love affair spawned out all of a sudden, you know. So it was an interesting moment, and certainly it was a great start to the show, wasn't it? Really got the show going, kind of thing, you know. Stephanie Vacour winning the Battle Royal. Bren,
100%. It was never in doubt. It was never in doubt. She was always going to win the Battle Royal. And she was brilliant. And I think there's a comment in the chat there that our Sean's not going to be too happy with. But I agree. She cuts a better promo than Nikki Bella, and her English isn't even her first language. But like she says, wrestling is her first language, and that's beautiful. Stephanie deserves this. We have been flying her flag on this podcast for months, since she debuted. So it was never in doubt. Great shout by my friend Randy Snorton,
Roll me.
and also as well, yeah, 100%. I'm behind this winner.
Cool. Sean Mack.
Totally agree with Bren. I saw this lineup and I said, "There's only one person that can win this," and it was Stephanie. I mean, there's
Nikki
no one
Bella.
else. No one else. Yeah, if it was in 2010, I would have said it would probably be Nikki Bella. But just like Sean can't face reality, I think Natalia said that there was going to be some surprises in this. So people who can't face reality thought that AJ Lee was going to appear, but that didn't happen. But I still think this is fun. Women's battle royals.
I was one of those guys.
Oh, were you?
Well, she was putting up on Instagram in her wrestling gear all last week, so it was easy to assume it may happen. So it wasn't a stretch.
Yeah, I think as soon as you get it into your heads that she's not coming back, and that's the end of it.
Never.
Never say ever.
Can we talk about one return though? And that's the return of Vicky Guerrero. Now, I know she can't come back full time, but she appeared after the triple threat match. And by the way, that triple threat match, the opening match with the three girls, Becky, Bailey, and Lyra. I heard somebody say before, if you can't be main event, you want to be the opening contest, and this couldn't be more true. This was one of the probably my joint favorite match on the card. What I would say is, I actually thought this was the end of their feud. I think to myself, brilliant. They can all go separate ways now, but we'll talk about that in the next section.
This is Judgment Day levels.
But the Vicky Guerrero, team her up with Dom and take my money. Vicky Guerrero and Dom makes so much sense. Now I understand there's some controversy there whereby she can't probably jump on full time, but Vicky and Dom, perfect. And yes, absolutely, I totally agree with that. Victoria should have absolutely been in that battle royal.
Sean Mack, what are we thinking of Bailey here at the moment? She's kind of going through the Finn Balor loss, kind of trying to find that positioning. We've heard her talk on podcasts and various things like that and all. What do you reckon with Bailey?
I don't know if I'd say she's as low as Finn Balor was as worst. I think people forget that there is a very, very good Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria feud that she has kind of been shoehorned into a little bit. She's kind of been dragged into. I'm not saying that, like, I think this is probably one of the best matches tonight. I think all three of them have incredible chemistry. So much so that even if they have a couple of matches, like on Raw, we had Bailey and Lyra in a 2 out of 3 falls match. At SummerSlam, we're getting Becky and Lyra. And normally I'd be like, for fuck's sake, they've had so many matches. Please just give me something else. But when they have chemistry as good as they have, I think it's great. Now, I think Bailey can still... I don't see the men in this storyline anytime soon. So I think win, lose, or draw for Becky or Lyra, I think Bailey could still pop up. I think Bailey, people still like her. I don't think she's done anything terrible. So maybe, I don't know, I might be judging this because I hated when she was heel the first time. But if she really turned heel against Lyra, I think that could possibly be something that could boost her. But yeah, but at the same point, Becky's a really good Intercontinental champion. And I don't think taking the belt off her would do much good for anyone, really. So I think Bailey will get her chance, but it just won't be anytime soon.
Sean O, I want to talk to you about two things. Trish Stratus, my God, hasn't missed a beat. Incredible looking. And the other thing I wanted to go to, in the women's tag team match, the Fatal 4-Way, girl that I've spoken about highly on this show an awful lot down through the last year or whatever it is, Sol Ruka was absolutely phenomenal. Talk to me.
I agree with you. Sol Ruka is phenomenal. I'm sure if you watch NXT, you've seen her and Zarya teaming together. They're on TV every week. Obviously, Sol Ruka is the Women's North American champion, and I still stand by it to this day. Solberg should have been the first ever women's North American champion. I'm happy she is now, but I still wish she was the first ever. She is everything. She is the athleticism. Um, her promos are solid. Her in-ring work is beautiful, and without a doubt, she is one of the best finishers in WWE currently. Um, and well, I think she worked maybe, was it 3 matches in the weekend gone by? She had one on
Yeah.
SmackDown,
Mm.
Evolution, and the Great American Bash.
Yeah.
And all matches that she was in the past weekend were solid. Really good matches.
Actually, we never mentioned it on All In as well. Dustin Rhodes as well wrestled 3 times that last weekend as well.
Yeah.
So we forgot to mention that as well. So share out because he was saying in the press. I remember that his knees were shot after doing the 3 matches on the match itself. But yeah, cool. Yeah, but keep going, Sean. Sorry.
No, just to finish it off, Solberg was phenomenal over the weekend, and future women's champion, future women's world champion, even a future women's mid-card champion. Just give that girl another title as soon as she gets on the main roster.
Yeah.
I want to see that woman get the most success. She 100% deserves it. And she had an absolute brilliant showing at Evolution, and the exact same with Zarya.
Yeah, I think Bren, when you think of the plethora of talent that was in this match, and everyone after was talking about Sol Ruka, says a lot about it. But I wanted to get your thoughts. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair getting a bit chummy and becoming some sort of a tag team. This wouldn't have been a pairing that you may have potentially put together as a tag team, but could the dynamic of both women, could it work?
I think it can. I love the t-shirt as well. It's very good. I thought they were very good in the match. One of the highlights of the match was when Charlotte saved when she pulled Bliss away from a spear. I think it was. It was delightful. Is it long term? No. And for the short term, absolutely. I think it works. But I also have to agree with you, lads. One of the things that I'd written down was Sol Ruka is the future of women's wrestling. And that Soul Snatcher, she's a joy to watch. And it was one of the highlights. But yeah, I think it'll be a bit of crack to have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair do their thing for a while. And actually, if you look at that match, I think that's the best Charlotte Flair has looked since she's come back, firstly. And also as well, the crowd are starting to get behind her again. So they're doing something right. And this pairing is definitely the right direction for her at the moment. And I think as well, Alexa Bliss was kind of not lost, but I think everybody was, including myself, stick her in Wyatt 6, the new WWE Tag Team Champions, by the way. But stick her in Wyatt 6. But I think this pairing will work for now until we see what the greater picture is. Because yeah, I have a good time watching them. They're very funny together. And it was that one of the best moments of that match was when she saved her from despair. It's fantastic. So that's where I am on that.
I think what happens is this is what we kind of wanted. When someone gets injured and they go off, they really should come back and have to work their way back in there. Not just be given the golden ticket, the Wonka ticket to go into the ring and be in a triple threat title match, something like that. And when they see you going back in there and working so hard and be invested and interested, you looked at Charlotte there the other night. She looked really happy to be involved in this and be a tag partner of Alexa Bliss. So when we get that type of Charlotte Flair, that's the best Charlotte Flair. And I think that's why it works. Sean Mack, has this laid down a marker? Is this going to become a yearly thing now, or should it?
I think it absolutely should. I thought the first Evolution was really good, and I was kind of surprised that they never did it again. And I don't think this show going into it had a lot going for it. It was brutally underbuilt. It was what's the word? It didn't sell many tickets. I remember people said on Twitter they got emails saying their seats had been upgraded. Which you think, oh my God, a better seat, great, but that's a thing they do so they can tarp off the sections that haven't sold. So it was that, but also it was on this absolutely batshit crazy, insane week for wrestling. Yeah. Raw on Monday, NXT Tuesday, Dynamite Wednesday, Impact Thursday, SmackDown Friday, Saturday, Battleground, All In, Saturday night's main event, UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Towson. That's UFC, but it's TKO, so I'm counting it. And then Sunday Evolution. That is too much events. So this really fell under the radar. But there's been a lot of times where a pay-per-view hasn't been built well, and it ends up completely over-delivering. And the fact that the women had put on such a great show, the fact that the crowd were rabid, and the fact that the talent is there. They have people from Raw, from SmackDown, from NXT, from TNA. The talent is absolutely there, and I think the demand for women's wrestling, but more women's wrestling, giving them more matches on pay-per-views and TV, and especially giving their own PLE, is absolutely something the fans want.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'd be more than happy if this was a yearly thing, or maybe even if they don't want to do it every year, maybe do it every second year or something like that. But don't leave. I'll just say this: don't leave it 7 years till the next one, please.
Yeah, I think they have a stacked amount of talent there. Plus a lot of the stuff they're doing between Evolve and LFG and all this kind of stuff and all coming through. They can easily do it once a year, no problem. But I think they need to do a better job of making it like a big deal. You know what I mean? I think what happens is you get that marketing machine from WWE coming along, and it's obviously caught up in Saturday night's main event and SmackDown and Raw and everything else that's going on. And this kind of gets thrown together and becomes that forgotten child kind of thing. I think they need to push it really, really hard and stuff like that. Yeah, because the talent and this show was absolutely phenomenal. Look, even JC, we haven't even mentioned the NXT Women's Championship match. Jordan Grace and JC was, phenomenal as well. Very little, nothing to complain about really. And it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes from now. And then I seen a video today after the event. They all went out to some nightclub or something like that, and they were all out dancing together and stuff like that. And it was really cool to see them all together. Stephanie was there with Rhea and a number of others and all them. It was cool to see them all out enjoying themselves because they knew they had delivered something special and given the company something to think about. Absolutely. And when you've that amount of talent, they should definitely have at least once a year, I think, anyway. Phenomenal job. Right. Let's get into Raw. Let's talk about Raw. Right, kick it off. Sean O. Going to kick it off. Women's World Champion Naomi returning.
Oh, as soon as she walked out with that title, I just thought it was great to see. It kind of felt nostalgic. Obviously, she hasn't been a champion in quite a long time, world champion in quite a long time. So it is great to see her back with a title around her waist. I'd like to see a nice lengthy reign.
Was it just me, or did anyone pick up? Did the title look bigger?
I think that's just because she's short, maybe.
I mean, did the title look like a bigger belt compared to when EO had it? I thought it was a bigger belt, like when she held it up and stuff like that. No. It looked like a much bigger middle plate and all. I don't know. It just felt bigger to me. I don't know why. So go back and check it out and have a look, lads, even at pictures and stuff like that. I thought it felt like it was a bigger belt or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Didn't have your reading glasses on?
No, they're in the drawer there.
Oh. Take them off, then you put them on. It's like, oh.
Cheeky bastard. Feck off back to France.
I was at Specsavers today. I've respect for the glasses community. It's all right.
I only use them for the blue screen. I don't need glasses. I can read perfectly. Who do you think puts these slides together and reads them?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's me.
At this rate, I think we're going to need an anger meter for everyone on here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Naomi cut a brilliant promo, I think.
Sean there just totally lost his whole train of thought about what he was talking about now. No, the belt wasn't bigger. Fuck off.
Yeah, but shut up.
Go ahead, Sean.
This lad's a fucking melt.
Me?
Fucking women's wrestling. Well, anyway.
Drop shots. Anyway, what was I freaking? Yeah, I've lost.
You were saying how good it was, Naomi. It was a bit nostalgic.
Thank you, Brian. So obviously, it's great to have a title around her waist again. And I feel like ever since She has turned heel. Her promos have just done a complete 180. She's putting her own heel spin on it, and that's what I absolutely love. She has her little attacks at the crowd. Some nights she might pick out one fan and make a little smart comment about them, and that's what I love. It's including everybody. It's including the fans, and as I said, putting her own spin on it. Of course, Rhea and Io came out and confronted her. That obviously set up a match for SummerSlam, a triple threat match, if I'm not mistaken, I think. Yes. So that would be
at the
exciting.
At
the moment, yeah. God knows how many more. It could be a battle royal for the title for all we know. Come SummerSlam. But yes, I am excited for that match, and I am definitely excited to see what Naomi can do with the title.
It's a feeling she's going to be backed into a corner and drop the belt to Jade Cargill. That's the thing that I'd be concerned about. I think Jade will end up in this match probably. That's what I think. Not too sure. Bren, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to rewind something you said a few minutes ago that they might be listening, or hopefully they'll listen, in terms of the first hour of Raw, or within the first hour, there was a lot of women wrestling stuff, and rightly so after that pay-per-view. Absolutely phenomenal pay-per-view overall. But yeah, look, I agree with Sean. Naomi coming back, she was great with the crowd. She was very funny. Don't Want Me, it was fantastic stuff. But yeah, I do think she's backed into a corner, and I actually think I'm in line with what you're saying. I don't actually think Jade Cargill should be anywhere near this at the moment. I don't think she's even nearly ready. But there's just one thing I want to point out, because I know we're not sticking to the traditional thing, right? And I'm gonna go with Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green here, because you said something earlier on, Niall, that was interesting about Trish Stratus. Arguably, Trish Stratus came up in the same way that Nikki Bella did. I would say it was a little bit of a tougher way to come up, right? Did not miss a beat the other night. Was absolutely quality. And look, the start of this Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green match was actually all right. It was okay. But unfortunately, it just wasn't good towards the end. The person we have to compare her to at the moment, the most comparable one, is Trish Stratus, and she doesn't touch it. And to me, because of that, I don't think Nikki Bella should be in the position that she's in. In saying that, Chelsea Green, her work with Nikki is very good. It's and even the promo before she went out with the Hervis talking to Stephanie Vicar, it was all brilliant stuff. But I think what we've seen with Evolution, there's so much talent, so many good women wrestlers out there, and I don't think Nikki Bella deserves the spot on Raw that she had. I think we've seen a good solid event there, and to be honest, I actually think her reactions are piped. When her music hits, I think it looks like her reactions are piped. You know what I mean? It's not the Rhea reaction. It certainly wasn't the Trish reaction. So yeah, look, I don't mean to be Nigel negative on that, right? But that's just where I am on that. And all of that said, look, the first hour of Raw was deadly. All of the women were brilliant. The Kabuki Warriors, do you know what? I'm not a big fan of non-title matches to get a title match. I don't like them. Never seen sense in them. But this result was surprising, because about 95% of the time, I think the people going for the title match wins that. They win it through X, Y, or Z or whatever. Should the Kabuki Warriors continue, I think it maybe give Asuka her little solo run before she rides off into the sunset, because she probably doesn't have that many years left. I don't know. But yeah, no,
probably that's why they're going with the tag team, because they want to prolong it. Less work.
Good
so
show.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Good show. Well, yeah, no, look, I enjoyed the first hour Raw, and I thought I think Naomi's brilliant. Long way from the Funkadactyls. Did I pronounce that right? Funkadactyl? Yeah. You've just come a long way from a Funkadactyls. Anyway, I'm going to shut up before I murder more words in the thesaurus.
When I looked at the Nikki Bella match with Chelsea Green and all, and Stephanie and stuff like that and all, I got the feeling is there a reality show coming down the pan here again? Not a Bella's again or something like that of that ilk, where we're going to get to see in depth the kind of Stephanie Facour, Julia, some of these new girls in there with a sprinkling of other stuff, Chelsea Green, all that kind of stuff. Did you get the feel when you see this kind of thing, when you see Stephanie and Nikki coming together and stuff like that? Have we got a reality show coming?
I hope not, because do you know what that tells me? That tells me that the likes of Nikki, they're more interested in their career outside of the WWE than they are inside of the WWE.
No, this is a WWE production.
Which is how Total Divas started, and it evolved onto Total Bellas.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying and where you're going with this. I hope not, because look, Total Divas was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was terrible. That the best thing that happened, I think, Natalia got into a fight with somebody and the clatter looked legitimate. I think that was season 1. And then John
watched it. So you watched it and you're remembering parts of it.
That's not the point, Niall. All right.
And if they do a new one, we'll all watch it.
I will watch it. I will watch it, right? You have me in a corner now, and I will watch it, right? Of course I will. But I don't like it. You know what I mean?
But don't think of this as being a Bella's thing. Think of this as getting an opportunity to get an insight into the life of Julia or Stephanie Facour or Sol Rucker or whatever it is. Whoever kind of goes in there and stuff like that, if that was to happen, that would be something I would be interested in. I mean, we were all there for the insight into Paige's life and the breakdowns and the tough moments and the tears and the agony and the ecstasy of success and failure and all that kind of stuff. And as a society now, we're kind of enshrined in that. You know what I mean? Like if this was an Amazon documentary, we'd all be lauding about it. But it'll probably be a WWE production, probably a Netflix production actually. And I think with Netflix in there partnering up, I think that's really cool. Listen, I watch Bianca and Montez. I watch all them because I want to see what the daily life of some of these people is like, and the kind of things that they go through. Because you know what it does then when I do see that, then I'm not that guy in the airport with 28 by 10s trying to get fucking signed. I'm not that guy. So it's a kind of a little educational thing as well, But I kind of think that could be back there. They're partnered up with Netflix. Netflix is the land of milk and honey in terms of documentaries, be it good, dark, or indifferent. And I think that could be potentially because, like you see it there. I mean, why would you have Stephanie Facour coming in?
Look, as long as they don't go down the Kardashians route, where it seems scripted. If it seems more reality based, I'm down with that. And I see where you're going with that, and it makes sense with the Netflix thing. But as long as it doesn't go down the Kardashians based, I mean, Sean O, you looked really excited about the prospect of that. So I'm interested.
I'm agreeing here with Romy as well. Total Divas and Bellas maybe want to deep fry my head, but we watched it.
I loved that. I loved it.
There we go.
So did.
Yeah. Keith said, he goes,
what about Sean Mack?
Don't say it. I would rather, I'm coming to Sean now, I'd rather see Goldberg return for a 3-minute match. There ain't no 3-minute matches anymore. This guy's down 13 minutes. You got to drop that narrative. That doesn't work. That was practically an Iron Man match the other night for that lad. Why do I want to see what they do on their free time? I ain't no Mark. You don't have to be a Mark. You don't have to be a Mark. Think about it these days. Probably 70% of what we watch these days, if it's not live football, is documentaries and reality TV.
And Gary Barlow. Gary Neville.
Hang on, what's this guy on about? This is the guy who's been lauding Stephanie Facour for nearly a year on this podcast. Romy, what are you talking about? That you wouldn't like an insight into the life of Stephanie Facour. Give over. You see, you're looking at this through the Bella goggles. You gotta think of this a different way. Paige now a free agent, just saying.
He will be.
Sean Mack.
I'll be honest, I don't think this match was absolutely shambolically disgusting and evil and it should be shot out in the street. As I do a couple of Nikki Bella's matches. I think she looked okay. I don't know what is wrong with you, Niall, that you watch this match and just go, you know what I think this really needs? another reality show. I will say about Total. This was Total Divas. I think I saw one episode. It was during SummerSlam 2016.
Oh,
If you even go back, was meant to be like a 6-woman's tag match, and Eva Marie is meant to be in one of the teams, but then Eva Marie got locked in the toilets in Port She was having shite. I don't know what happened, but she couldn't be there, so they were kind of struggling to think, oh my god, but now she's not going to be here. What's happening? And it was fine. But then I read Daniel Bryan's book, and obviously he was part of Total Bellas because he was with Brie, is still with Brie, so he was in episodes, and he just said like the whole thing was shite, and they'd have to film it during certain points of the day or of the week to make it look like it would be the morning of that day or the evening or something. So it's not something I've desired for, but WWE have made great documentaries. The 24 documentaries that used to be on the network in particular were great, and I think Netflix also make really good documentaries. I think character profiles, like with Stephanie, I think that could be cool. But anything Total, anything Bella's adjacent, piss off. I don't want to see it. I didn't want to see it when I had crush on him as a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I still don't want to see it. This was a good match. Let's just enjoy Raw for wrestling and not go, you know what I'd like?
I like Stephanie McCord, but who knows? She could be a boring cunt outside the ring. Who holds VHS tapes from WWF days?
I watched her on the Celtic Warrior Workouts.
So here, Robbie, for us, that could be a perfect date. Get the popcorn, get the drinks in, throw in the WWF VHS, sit there with Stephanie and watch a bit of wrestling. Hey,
forget a date. I just go down on my knees and ask her to marry me then and there.
The Miz reality show was class. There we go. See,
it was good.
Yeah, maybe this is a good idea.
Miz and Mrs. Was it?
Miz and Mrs.
Well,
they're both very good.
Well, they're both likable people. So I think if you have likable people like Stephanie Vaquer, I think it could work. But if you have the Bellas, two of them,
it was delicious.
Do you remember AJ Lee told him talent wasn't sexually transmitted?
Yeah.
That was on Raw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was one of the best promos I have ever seen anybody, and the Bellas' reaction to that told me everything I need to know about the Bellas, but that was brilliant. AJ Lee.
Yeah, and even Ronda Rousey, as shy as she was, I remember she told Nikki Bella the only door she broke down was the door to Cena's bedroom.
I hope you enjoyed my Tuesday pickup link today, lads, with Crime Time and William Regal.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
William
Happy
Regal
Tuesday.
he's a global treasure. William Regal is.
And did you notice the way at the start of it he gets the Vince walking and all the Vince movements and everything? And all it was so cool. Loved it. Shame.
Somebody in there slagging the chaperone.
Oi, who?
Do not slag the chaperone.
How dare you? Get out of here. Don't show your face to your profile in the street.
Blade.
And if I see anything about See No Evil, I may as well just go in there and make myself.
That's legitimately a good movie.
Did you notice in Blade
it's terrible.
Did you notice in Blade as well? He had the best teeth. He had those big silver ones hanging out of him, like The uncomfortable thing was the dog. There we go. Right, let's talk Gunther. Gunther came out. Who's next? Everyone, who's next?
Find out next week on Total.
Yeah, on Total, of course. There we go. What do we make of this? This leads me in nicely. Let's talk obviously with Seth getting injured and stuff like that, where we're kind of not necessarily we're none the wiser kind of thing. But it was interesting to see that kind of Punk defeating Braun, Seth not being around, the leader not being there kind of thing, What way is this going to address? Is someone going to step forward and someone comes in with Bronson Reed? Or do we have someone stepping forward into the middle role and the two boys maintaining their positions? What do we think is going to happen here? Are we just going to go down the road of a killer tag team with Paul Heyman? What do we think here? Obviously, we've got conversations. Is this a situation where Gunther could step in there? We spoke last week about it. Brent, you said it as well. He's kind of in this kind of middle ground area. He's not Imperium. He's Gunther, but kind of like the sum of all parts and all that kind of stuff. Is this something where Gunther could just step in there? Is it a case could be a carrying cross and you bring in Scarlett as well? We've spoken about having a female representative into that group. Could this be an opportunity for a Drew McIntyre to step in there? What's our general thoughts on this, boys? Where is this kind of situation going to go?
Don't want to jump in at one.
I'll jump in.
Sorry.
Look, it's for me, how I think it should go and how it might go is two different things, likely. But I think Breaker should be pushed to the moon now. I think he should be basically pushed forward. He should push himself forward as leader and eventually become champ earlier. It's all there. And Paul Heyman said something brilliant, by the way, which alluded to what we were saying last week. You haven't been spared until you've been spared by Braun Breaker. And that's a great that's a great t-shirt. But no, here's what I'd like to see happen. Breaker kind of leads the group. They maybe get another member to kind of fill in that thing. When Rollins comes back, then Breaker is champ and he cashes in on Breaker, removing Breaker from the group, creating a more cohesive group, and then basically putting Breaker against the group. That's the thoughts that came into my head. However, with you saying about somebody like Drew McIntyre stepping up, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. It wouldn't be a bad move, and maybe it would be the right direction. But that's how I see it. What say you?
I don't know what their plans were, but whatever they are, I'd imagine they're very much up in the air over Seth getting injured. I mean, this is crucial. I think if it's as bad as we're saying it's going to be, it's messed up their entire storytelling for the year. Now, part of me thinks that they want to remain faithful. So by that logic, I'd say we just get Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed as a tag team. And if I was to push one to the moon, as Bren would say, I think it would have to be Braun Breaker. But it's a bit up in the air. I think what they were planning on was Roman coming back last night, as he did, and then facing Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. But it's very up in the air. We'll just have to see if Seth's injury is as severe as we hopefully don't anticipate it to be. But we'll have to see. But I think it'll be a little different than what was originally on the paper.
Rikishi, love it. Rikishi moaning and then Jimmy doing corkscrews and all. We gotta love it. Braun Breaker versus Gunther, give me that beauty, yeah. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Reed. Not upset.
That might be what they have to do if there's no Seth.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we came to this main event, this gauntlet match. Braun Breaker absolutely annihilating people. And then drops the ball at CM Punk. Sean O, thoughts?
Poor Penta. It seems like every match Penta's in that Braun Breaker is also in, he jumps off the ropes and gets speared the absolute crap out of. And you love to see it, you know. I mean, I wouldn't like to take it myself, but you know, who would? Unless you were getting paid enough money, or would that even do it?
No amount of money pays you to take
that. Well, definitely not the time Carlito took it anyway.
No, or Sami Zayn.
Yeah. No, Penta's definitely on a roll, and I speak for Braun Breaker too. This was definitely a brilliant match last night. Braun Breaker, we've said it time and time again, the man's just an absolute beast. He's not human. We don't have a clue what he is, but he is definitely not human. And he looks the part. He's got the strength. Put a championship on this man. I think he should have won last night. I like Punk. Don't think Punk should have won. I would have loved to have seen Braun Breaker versus Gunther for the title, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Well, what I would say on Punk is the reason Punk won it was the kick in the ball sack for Seth. So that's the underlying story there. So Punk fits the bill perfectly because the two of them can't stand each other. So while the cat's away, the mice will play. So it's very easy to lay that out and stuff like that. I have to say, when we talk about lads running down to make saves and all that kind of stuff, and we talk about full entrances and all, we got quite a short entrance from the OTC, didn't we? Came back, looked $1 million. Lads, talk to me about the pop. The roof blew off the building. I don't care whether it was piped in, shouted in, clapped in. I don't care what they did. It
was
looked
real.
phenomenal. Very
It was
real.
real. And he looked, like you said, he did. This is he's looked phenomenal for ages, but this was a different beast, different aura, different animal. He came back and everything he hit. I'm not a big fan of the Superman punch, but when he did it, I was like, yes, that's
snug.
it.
The one on Breaker was so snug, wasn't it? That first one, and the elevation
So
he got
good.
on it. No, absolutely clocked him. And
yeah,
go on, yeah.
He's just like, to me, this was a good Raw, and I was when he came out, when that music hit, it just changed. Everything just changed, and the Raw didn't. It went from good to special, and that's what Roman Reigns does now, and it was phenomenal. So for me, I can't wait. Great new T-shirt, great look, and everything he does makes sense, and he has that aura. Even when he looked down at CM Punk, they weren't exactly pally or anything like that. But when he put his hands out for Jey Uso, it's the little things like that. This was just amazing. What a great way to end. It was a great way to end what was a brilliant weekend of wrestling.
And I have to say, Sean Mack, it could have been, after such an amazing weekend of wrestling, it could have been easy for Raw to fall flat on its face, especially with Seth being out. But certainly they knocked it out of the park again. Acers is in here as well, lads. You know what he's going to come in with. The Tribal Championship is horrible. We had this conversation today on our WhatsApp group. We spoke about it at length, how bad it was. I did say I liked the Ulafala in it, but not necessarily the portrait or the mush in the middle of it looked a bit weird. Self-serving, really, and stuff like that. No, but I have to say, Sean Mack, what was you thinking? The Tribal Chief is back with a bang.
Brilliant to see him back. Just to go pivot on the gauntlet match quickly before we get to it. I understand people being maybe a little annoyed that CM Punk won, but CM Punk faced Gunther for the world title at the house show in Belfast that they ran very recently. And from speaking to people who went, it was really, really good, and the crowd were very good for it. That's the house shows. What some people might not realize is they trial matches on them. So if they're thinking of starting a feud between, we'll use Punk and Gunther in this circumstance, they'll put it on a house show. And if the crowd are up for it and it does well, they'll think about doing it. If the crowd aren't up for it, then they'll probably shelf it. And I think Punk is a safe bet because he's a really good foil for Gunther. Again, we talk about the implications with Seth's team. But honestly, I wouldn't have minded anyone in this match to win, except someone with a shit, annoying, repetitive entrance that gets very, 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 very old very quickly. So good that you're totally satisfied with it when you hear it the first time, not the second time. But I think Penta would have been great. LA Knight would have been cool. I think, but if I had to narrow it down, I would have picked either Punk or Braun Breaker. And I think Punk is a really good pick. I thought it was a great match and very good to see Roman Reigns back. I think this is the first time we've seen him since the Raw after WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, where Punk himself and I think it must have been Sami Zayn or Jey Uso all got beaten down by this new group that Seth Rollins is heading.
That's right.
So no, absolutely fantastic seeing him back. Probably the biggest pop of the year, I'd say. Definitely, I'd say.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, great to see Roman back and a great way to end. Probably one of the better Raws of the year, I'd argue. I thought it was a really, really strong episode.
Yeah, especially after what it was following as well. I thought it was significant. All right. Says John Cena will retain championship at SummerSlam because Cody Rhodes is filming Street Fighter movie and Cena's defending the title at Clash in Paris. There we go. Keith's in. The reason CM Punk won was because WWE needed a big match for SummerSlam, but I still stand. We should have gotten Cena versus Punk at SummerSlam instead.
Yeah, and we should have got it totally uninterrupted, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Clean match.
And Romy, Gunther should be one to beat Cena at Saturday night's main event. Retire another old timer. Sorry, Brent. There we go.
I'm going to respond to that if that's okay. I'm going to respond to that if that's okay.
And I'll pop it back up there for you.
Yeah, listen, it's not a bad show. However, we talked about this in the chat during the week, and it occurred to me that I think Cena being Cena, I actually think he's going to put what I hope he does, I hope he puts somebody new and up and coming over. And I don't think I think we're looking very much in the Raw SmackDown spectrum at the moment. We should be looking at NXT. Obafemi is the guy, in my opinion, that should pin Cena for the 1, 2, 3.
There's a hot take.
That is the guy to do it. Because years ago, years ago, it probably would have been similar to what the Undertaker did with, say, Brock Lesnar, and it was a name doing another name. But to me, Obafemi is the guy to do it. He has everything, and he's the future. The future's in very safe hands with the likes of him, Breaker, Jacob Fatu, etc. But Obafemi is my guy to do it. Not a bad shout, and I will be sad to see John go. So that's my Obafemi. I'm on board. Yes, there you go.
There we go. Sean Mack.
I think Obafemi is very good, but that is very, very ambitious. And another thing
that's 3 shows down, isn't it? That's 3 shows down to find the guy.
Who do we think is likely? Sorry, Sean.
Really, I think, as you say, it wouldn't hurt if it was someone from NXT. It'd have to be
So
someone big.
You know what they should do? That Saturday night's main event, they should do like what they did on Raw here. Just have Cena in a gauntlet match for the whole event. And he just keeps on knocking lads off the list. Eventually,
I do it.
Lose for the last
But here's the thing.
No.
If you're annoyed at how Saturday night's main event handled Goldberg's return, or not return, his final match, imagine what they will do to Cena. The ad breaks, and he'll be cutting his big retirement speech, and then the screen will go to black, and it'll say, thanks for watching. I would much, and I know it's scheduling, I would much rather a proper PLE be Cena's farewell, because I think it's about what he deserves.
I think he'll come out on Raw the next night, and they'll do something then, maybe.
But then he'll say, oh no, actually, it's January. Sorry, I broke my tire. Oh well, I suppose I can do another 2 years. Sorry about all that. I actually do like you a lot, and anyway, that's just ambitious.
You'll get next year then the farewell to the farewell tour.
Yeah, a new line of merch. Farewell. No, actually,
another litany of t-shirts.
Yeah,
his merch has me broke.
After a few months, you can't see me.
Yeah.
It's like a double-sided door, spinning door.
I disagree, Brent. Cena needs to pass the torch over to Braun Breaker and have Braun Breaker retire Cena. Breaker is going to be the next poster boy for WWE. The only thing I would say about that is they tried to play that card with Solo, didn't they, at Crown Jewel at one of these events. Solo got a big win over Cena. And it took him a year nearly to recover for it. He didn't really get what we would regard as the rub. It didn't seem to transpire at all, you know. So it's a kind of a weird one, you know what I mean? And you know, pass the torch to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's one of those guys, he'll just whip the torch out of whoever has it anyway, you know what I mean? I don't think I don't think Braun Breaker kind of needs to bump off anyone. I think Braun Breaker's a bona fide star, you know. The amount of wrestlers in Street Fighter movie is mental. Yeah, absolutely.
Who's in it? I know Cody and Roman are there, but who else?
What was Seth due to be in one? Which may not happen now, obviously.
I didn't see Seth's name. There was other wrestlers.
Was he mentioned for some other movie then or something? He was supposed
it was one of the Avengers movies he was supposed to be in, but I think his scene got cut.
Captain America, Brave New World.
Yeah, Captain America. Yeah.
Cody playing Goyle in Street Fighter. What a cast.
Perfect, isn't it?
Chef's kiss. Kenny.
Is Kenny playing Cody? Because I remember they did a commercial. He was like a pre-order bonus or something for a Street Fighter game.
Yeah.
And he'd just been out of prison and was working in like a law firm or something. And Kenny Omega played him. But you know, a movie that I did see Cody Rhodes is going to be in. It's coming out soon. It's New Naked Gun.
Yes.
That looks like great crack.
And actually, there was a recommendation made last week, and I watched it. Heads of State with John Cena and Idris Elba. Bravo. What a movie.
The Amazon Prime one, isn't it?
What a movie. John Cena.
Sean, did you watch it? Sean,
no, I still haven't watched it. Tonight.
Brem, honestly, watch it. It's overindulging, isn't it? If you enjoy Shawn Michaels overselling in a match, you will love this movie. This is beyond overselling. This is like limousines flying through the air, getting riddled, and John Cena giving it. It's so
It's
good.
so good.
It's
John
it's
Cena
so,
sells.
It's so cheesy and ridiculous. It's good. It's gone. You know what, the way it gets cheesy and ridiculous, and you go, "Oh, that's shit." It went so far cheesy and ridiculous that it's enjoyable. It's ridiculous. This is Naked Gun. This is I don't
On
know.
steroids.
This is Naked
It's Naked
Gun,
Gun on
Airplane,
steroids.
National Lampoons, all rolled into a ball with John Cena in it, and it's a
Incredible.
fun movie. I
He's-
told
he's
you,
pe-
Brendan. Like,
Yeah.
it's as cheesy as but damned.
He's pretty
You know,
good at the out
nice.
films, isn't he, John Cena?
Yeah, you know, they're going like there's a part in the limousine to go like the limousine's getting shot up, and he's to your woman, "Hey, be careful there."
Yeah.
The place is getting absolutely rocket launched. Hey, be careful there. You know, it's ridiculous.
Lord.
It's
I saw-
ridiculous.
yeah. I saw a film in the cinemas with John Cena in it yesterday. I don't know if I want to. It's not a big spoiler, but Superman
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
pops up
so
in
yeah.
Superman. Yeah,
But again,
Okay.
like watch Peace. If you haven't watched Peacemaker season 1, I'm gonna beat that drum again. Peacemaker season 1 is quality. John
Oh,
Cena calls Batman a communist in it, and the lead up to it is brilliant. And season 2 is out in August. Melina, oh my lord.
Oh, Keith, you're out to get me into trouble there. I responded on X today. Gail Kim put up a post, and Kenny Noble, who was being the chat, Kenny who's done the books and the art and stuff like that and all, who's been in the shop a good few times and stuff. He put up a post saying to Gail Kim, "Look, no one was going on like this. The majority of people were saying everyone looked great." Gail was talking about people, you know, shaming and dysmorphia and all that kind of stuff and all. And Cedric responded on it as well. And they said, "Look, shouldn't be taking heed of people who sleep on their mum's couch at 40 or 50 years of age complaining about how people look and all that kind of thing and all, you know." And then Keith goes and does me dirty. Melina was looking like the Rock's man when she smiled in the crowd. Melina. She was I seen her at an OTT event actually.
in the Tivoli. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. That was a great show.
Shane is a funny actor. He is a funny actor.
He's got really good comedy chops. Like for all his unfunny
Yeah.
comedy shite in the
Yeah.
2010s, I think it really benefited. For every baloney fudge and mustard my life's been ruined by the internet, we have Peacemaker and we have whatever that film's called, the Amazon one we were just talking about.
It's a
Heads of
steal.
state. And I am
Heads of
down with
yeah.
that comment from Rami there. Down with
Yeah, but
that.
how'd you do a movie night on it?
Well,
Like the four of us sitting here looking at Heads of State going, ha ha, ha ha. No one hears anything.
Then
Ha, ha,
every-
ha.
we could
everyone
test it out.
being everyone
We'll
being
get
behind it
scripts
then.
and act it out ourselves.
What we need to
There
do
you
is
go.
when people are here in Ireland, get together and go have a movie night. Do that kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool.
I love the
Let's
idea of
start
us
on
all
this.
watching the film and then someone being behind. Then you just hear, "Oh my god, no! Wait, is he dead?" And then all this,
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone else, I'm behind you.
yeah.
But we do have something, Romy, coming up that we're talking about at the moment that we might do. So keep an eye on the page this week on the channel. We're discussing doing something potentially that would be a lot of fun. Staying away from it might be another. Staying away from it might be another thing, but we'll have fun. Peacemaker is great. Loved it. I play as him in MK.
He's so good in MK.
And also, Peacemaker should have entered the Royal Rumble 2 years ago when he was promoting it.
He does the
The
Cactus
team
Jack
music
thing.
is deadly.
You really want to taste it? Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Get him to go down as that and get thrown out like Santino. And then go backstage, change into Tugonomics, come out and get thrown out as that guy. Go back, change as John Cena, come back out, that guy, you know. So
What about
That's
Prototype?
John Cena could practically have a Royal Rumble just all on his own. Acers, 10A Slammiversary and Usyk versus Dubois 2 and UFC 318 BMF title all coming up this weekend, lads. No wrestlers at all.
Justin Poirier's
No,
last fight. That's
Yeah,
gonna be.
what a fighter. What a fighter. What a fighter. Cena to do with Gable and BE Peacemaker avoid retirement.
There's already an L Peacemaker. His name's Juan Cena.
There we go.
Last appeared, I think, in
Isn't that John's
2018.
Mexican cousin?
Yeah.
Tell you.
Didn't he climb Everest with Grande Americano before JBL?
Grande,
And
but which, by the way, Grande Americano, for a man who can gain height on camera. I give this man all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
He practically is transformed in front of our very eyes. His
I know.
physicality.
And
He
good
must be
news
on the
about
Monjaro. He must be on the Monjaro or something because he got shredded in 5 days.
yeah, and brilliant news about El Grande Americano. Just before we move on, WWE's 2K25's first DLC pack was the Motor City Machine Guns, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and a mystery guest. And they had announced the mystery guest, and it was pretty much confirmed it was going to be Travis Scott. But for some reason, I think they attribute it to him injuring Cody Rhodes. But also Netflix put out a documentary about Astroworld, which is one of a concert he held where a bunch of people got killed
Cena.
and injured. So there's a lot of negative controversy around him. So out with Travis Scott, and they've brought in instead El Grande Americano.
They put Travis Scott straight into the GTA 6 DLC.
Oh god! At least you can run him over with a car, shoot him with a Widowmaker. I would have loved him in 2K25 just so I could squash him with everyone, but yeah, I'm sure so many communications to do it. But yeah, look out for El Grande Americano coming in 2K25 very soon.
The chances are, Keith, you might see this at Survivor Series, but it might be tangled up in a War Games match or something like that. But you will definitely see some sort of it. El Grande Americano with the Jericho heel lifts and increased height. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Just want to mention, of course, we said we'd mention this, of course. Like the Murphys, not so bitter. Brett talking about, well, yeah, they should have cut it the minute they handed him the mic. You can imagine Brett saying it the minute they handed him the mic. Like with a roll. Just you can say, look at that picture there. Look at that anger venting down that screen. You know what I mean? He killed Goldberg. Who's next?
What a statement.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? We also mentioned, and I should have mentioned it really at the top of the show, lads, but also, I don't know if you caught this as well. Sadly, Kevin Nickel, 41, best known NXT brawler, Knuckles Madsen and all, sadly passed away, I think, at the weekend from a shooting. It was over in a colleague's house and got shot in the abdomen and apparently bled out and passed away. So very, very sad and stuff like that. Cops are still going through it and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't save him and all that kind of thing. So there's obviously a whole investigation about it and stuff like that. But rest in peace, Kevin Nickel, and our thoughts and prayers go out to family, friends, colleagues, and the wrestling community, of course, who would have been fans of Knuckles Madsen and Ivan Warsaw. So there you go, folks. I meant to mention at the start of the show, but I didn't. I missed it. So there you go. I want to talk before we get into history, folks, and it's been a great show. We're at an hour 32 already. I put up a spider's web here and have Seth in the middle there, and kind of it was a feeling. This guy has viewed it with so many people that kind of all roads lead to Seth Rollins. So I wanted to get your thoughts today when Seth comes out of the picture and how they pivot then into Roman. Does it transcend the same way? Roman, obviously, with plenty of history with a lot of these guys as well. So you take Seth out of there, he heals up, he repairs, whatever it is. Roman goes in there, and suddenly it opens up a different spider's web. But the one thing it got me thinking about was it's very, very interesting the way they do this insofar as a lot of these feuds don't seem to ever end. So literally when you have a guy like Seth Rollins in there or Roman Reigns, they can literally pivot to anyone. And there's a history and a laid down storyline and an interesting kind of pathway to go with it. Bren, give us your thoughts on it first, because we said we talk about it a little bit tonight.
Yeah, he was the nucleus of a lot of those stories, and he does he does love Goldberg. Yeah, look, I mean, this is what we seen in the Shield back in the day. We seen these guys. We knew what their future was, and like you just said, you could almost slide Roman Reigns in. But the only thing about it is that could throw a bit of a grenade into all of this is somebody said it earlier on in the chat. Roman Reigns is also in Street Fighter, so he's going to be going off to film in Street Fighter. So I don't think he's a long-term fixture at the moment. Anyway, I think maybe he has a couple of months and he goes off. But look, Seth Rollins had his finger in so many pies. I can only imagine the chaos that that is backstage, and the influence he has, and the fact that these feuds keep going is an absolute like it's a compliment to him. But this is going to be a hard one to fix. It's going to be a really hard one to fix, especially if Roman's going off to do his filming. And this is where I think they need to lean on the likes of Braun Breaker, to kind of lead it forward, or like you say, move one of those lads in, whilst he's injured, similar to what the Judgment Day have done with Roxanne. And Liv is going to come back. She's going to be in the hide.
Maybe you could slide a Drew in there. I mean, Drew has had a lot of feuds with these guys and stuff like that. He might be the guy. But it's an interesting. The more I thought about it, I mean, obviously the gorilla position must have been going mental when this injury happened. Going, holy fuck, what are we gonna do now?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And this is I could imagine. This is Vince McMahon going absolutely ballistic, throwing papers in the bin and having an absolute meltdown kind of levels kind of thing and stuff. So, but yeah, certainly that would be the case. You could argue the fact maybe Punk as well, because Punk has had feuds with all these guys more or less as well. So there's a couple of guys there they can lean on, but I'm going to keep an eye out and I'm going to try and figure out who's the guy that they're going to put in the center of the web that just, every couple of weeks pokes someone else and pulls someone else out of a hat to kind of feud with and stuff like that. I suppose maybe they dropped the ball, maybe with Cena in a way where, they had advertised some of these matches. This is the last time Punk will face Cena. This is the last time whoever it is would face Cena. Maybe they shouldn't have said that. Maybe they should just have marketed it as a match and not lay down the fact that he would never have to meet this guy again. Because maybe they've bitten off their nose to spite their face, kind of maybe a little bit there. But obviously they couldn't foresee what was going to happen with Seth and stuff, obviously. But certainly interesting. Sean, what's your thoughts? Sean Mack.
It's kind of hard to think of, because I think Seth has really feuded with everyone and achieved everything. He's a Grand Slam champion after all, so he really has, to an extent, done everything. I don't know how to feel about as you said about Cena and Punk, the fact that they're contractually obligated to never be in the same room ever again, forever. And if they do, they'll feel the wrath of God because they're not meant to face off against each other. I think Seth, he's really, really versatile. Oh my God.
That's a hot take.
Seth to beat Taker's streak. I think this is 2014, right? So, or 2015. So Seth, would the Shield still have been happening, or would he been? Because if it was Shield Seth, no. But if we got, if Authority Seth beat Taker's streak, imagine that. I was going to say, imagine if Authority Seth beat streak, everyone would be pissed. But I think if you put anyone in there and say, imagine X beat the streak, you would have been pissed. But yeah. But the thing with Seth is, he's not getting younger. Sadly, he's injured. We haven't even mentioned the fact that he's like in the biggest storyline in the company, but he's also the Money in the Bank holder. Naomi just cashed that in. And I know that the men typically tend to be a bit more patient when it comes to cashing in than the women. A lot of the women of past years, literally 20 minutes after they've done it, they're out, they've cashed it, they've got the belt. I really wonder how this has messed up plans for the rest of the year.
Well, see, the beauty of this is this potentially, like, we're assuming he's not going to be out for a full year because we don't know. But if he's not out for a full year, isn't the ideal surprise comeback, cash in? Because we don't really care for when they're carrying the briefcase around and they're on TV every week and stuff like that. So the briefcase should just go away now into the background to be forgotten about. So when it does trigger it, we get the surprise that we want. Seth's coming back, boom, cash in. We don't even know about it. It just happens, and he's sprinting down like what we seen at that WrestleMania. And I think that might be pretty cool. That's probably,
or even the Royal Rumble in 2008 when we thought Cena was going to be out till after WrestleMania. When he's music hit, it was one of the best things I'd ever seen.
Yeah. And Seth coming back will be a huge deal. We seen it last time even, and I mean, you look at the level that he's at now. I mean, when he talks about being Monday Night Rollins, he really means it, and he has the catalog to back it up. You
100%.
know, so I think when he comes back, if he comes back in the height of a cash in, we need a kind of a match where there's fucking hysteria, shit going off everywhere, like the Bucks and Swerve and Ospreay. Everything is just happening. And boom, there's this cash in, and he's back. And the talk, I read the story today as well, that it might not be as severe as we think. So what they're gonna maybe what they do is they probably market it that he's going to be gone for 6 months, but he might be only out for 3. And we get maybe a surprise cash in or something when we think he's still out injured or something, you know. The other thing I'd love to see them do as well is maybe do a bit of a documentary like they did that time. Remember with Balor and with Seth, when they both got injured and stuff like that. Those documentaries were really cool, you know, the comeback kind of stuff and all. I love that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool.
Even when the small videos, what they did with Triple H in 02, I'm really going back now. Before he came back on that Raw, they used U2 Beautiful Day. But the full documentary would be ideal. But if they're not going to do that, do something like what they did with Triple H.
Don't worry, WWE won't do a Mr. Kennedy set with the briefcase. Can you imagine? Set the cash in at Cena, Saturday night's main event, maybe. Yeah, something.
On Cena's apparent last match in his hometown. Yeah. Oh my God.
He's leaving. Can you imagine the crowd? He's leaving. The merchandise sales are gonna dry up. Fuck you. We're gonna give you that back door off the back of all those shirts on the way out.
I really hope not, but I kind of have morbid curiosity just to see the carnage.
That's kind of like that's Montreal levels, isn't it? That would be Montreal levels.
No. Puerto Rico.
Oh, but you know what I mean? Like the screw job. That would be. Don't even tell Cena you're gonna do it. Bring back Hebner and all. Fuck it.
But in Puerto Rico, they shot wrestlers, they stabbed wrestlers, they rushed the ring, even at the mildest inconvenience. Like if someone that they weren't even that mad about lost, but they weren't crazy about the guy who beat him, literally barricades down, run for your lives.
That's a quality show, isn't it? Imagine burying him right on the last minute, like, you know what I mean? A lot of Cena fans on here. We got to be careful. They could get a bit touchy.
And then Cena's so annoyed that his tour got ruined, turns face and does another farewell tour.
Oh God, yeah. Imagine, there's the perfect thing. Folks, I can't leave like this. How can I leave with all this unfinished business? There we go. We get Cena another farewell tour. Just
farewell.
Seth Rollins.
Farewell to the farewell tour. Signed a 20-year contract.
I hope we see Kevin Owens come back and he doesn't retire from his injury. 100%. He will get some serious pop. Absolutely, Kevin Owens.
And I still wouldn't mind seeing that Randy Orton Kevin Owens feud.
ECW, right? Let's go. Yeah, and those Boston fans are fucking insane.
Oh
insane. They would God, my God. When I remember, what was I was at an event and it was the Royal Rumble in 2018. Was not in Philly in the Wells Fargo.
Yes.
My God, they came out of there, the fans, and there was lads out on the street outside the stadium selling T-shirts, you know, all folded on the ground. And this crowd of guys came out like a fucking melee. They were knocking shit out of each other. And then they just started kicking all these guys' piles of T-shirts all around the place now. They were losing it. Fuck you. Fuck my friends. Fuck wrestling. I don't care. They were going mad. It was mental. Imagine Boston. Insane.
I thought Shinsuke won the Rumble that year.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was about actually, it was coming out of Raw, was it? Didn't Cena win on the Raw after it? And because it was in Philly, and it was Philly, didn't Philly get beaten in the Super Bowl by the Patriots? And Cena's a Patriots guy, he's a Tom Brady guy.
Yeah.
And they were going fucking mental at him. Mental.
Wasn't that when he wrestled? Yeah, he wrestled Finn, I think, didn't he? And he was acting a bit heelish.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then he actually turned the crowd around, but some lads were psyched up. They just don't forgive. They just do not forgive. Listen, not everyone wanted Shinsuke to win the Royal Rumble either. Don't get crowded by that. We came down the back stairs after that Royal Rumble, actually, and there was a guy at the bottom of the stairs, absolutely dressed as Shinsuke Nakamura in the red leather suit, and he had the greasy curly hair and all, the absolute image of him, except he was about 5'6" and weighed about 120 pounds. But he was like, from Shinsuke Nakamura head to toe, he had it all down. And we were running down the stairs and we went by him. And one of the lads turned around and goes, "Did you just see that?" And I said, "Yeah, don't worry, it's not him. He's 5'6". Come on, let's go." They thought it was him. It was mad. Then Cena can retire face after it. You couldn't retire on that. You'd have to go on. This is the way to get him to go on, you see. This is how we go, fuck you. Triple H coming out and all, give him the fucking DX and all, the whole shit and all. Really hammered up. I love when the marks are right. It's like a weekend at Broadmoor. Yeah, it's 100%. Sean, any thoughts? Seth?
No, I think you've kind of covered it all, but I've never actually put it together that his feuds have never finished. That's kind of cool. Just carries on. It's one continuous storyline and feud. I like that.
Sometimes I just outdo myself, don't I?
You really do. You should stop.
There we go.
You're just too good.
Thank you. Right, a
We
little
should
bit of
have got
history.
roses.
A little bit of history, and a couple of notable birthdays, some interesting ones in there. So we'll start off and we'll get through it then. 1986, WWE held their second ever King of the Ring tournament on a non-televised show in Foxborough, Massachusetts. 12 men entered the one-night event, which was won by Harley Race. Of course, remember, became King Harley Race then, with a win over Pedro Morales in the final. 1994, during the infamous trial of Vince McMahon on charges of steroid distribution. Remember Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea in court. They're not the same guy, apparently. Took the stand to testify. It is widely believed that his testimony was key to McMahon being spared jail time. And of course, we've seen the King of the Ring tournament, the Dark Side of the Ring episode now, which kind of laid out a lot of that. 1992, we always say that Vince should have never stepped out of the wrestling bubble. Mere months in operation, Vince McMahon announced that the Titan Sports-owned World Bodybuilding Federation, WBF, would be ceasing operations. 2002, on an episode of Raw from East Rutherford, New Jersey, former WCW president Eric Bischoff shockingly made his WWE debut when he was announced as the brand's first general manager by Vince McMahon. Upon his entrance, McMahon and Bischoff enthusiastically embraced on the Raw stage. I think the planet stopped spinning that time. In one of the most jaw-dropping moments in WWE history, and as we know, Stephanie then became the general manager of SmackDown back on our screens as a character. What was your thoughts? Go to you guys. What was your thoughts when you seen this? Obviously, you guys probably weren't even born, were you? Bren, you were around for it, obviously, so you've seen it, but the boys weren't born. They're via satellite, via DVD, via VHS, via whatever, via YouTube.
I watched it live and I couldn't believe it. It was one of those, you said it there, the world stopped. Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon, and to top it off with a hug was genius. And Booker T's reaction to me said it all. Tell me I did not just see that. And he was absolutely right. I mean, I was the same. What did you watch the back, boys? So obviously you knew what you were going to watch back. Could you get that? Could you get what we got, even a bit of what we got from watching it live, or what did you think?
I mean, knowing the history and the feud, and I have one of my most recent DVDs I bought actually was the Monday Night War, the documentary that they did detailing that. Brilliant DVD. So I can't even imagine what I think, like, a lot of people say, oh, I wasn't born for that, but if it happened today, it would be the equivalent of da-da-da-da-da. I think it would probably be the equivalent of Triple H and Tony Khan, maybe.
Tony Khan walking out on stage
on Raw,
the Raw general manager, replacing Adam Pearce.
Yeah, or something like that. But no, it was crazy, and I can't even imagine. I know, knowing what we know now, I wouldn't say it's maybe not as special, but we can always go, oh yeah, well, we know what happens after. But at the time, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. What was it? Shock, horror, or just bliss? Like, oh my god, this is incredible. Or is like, what is happening? Oh my god, no, turn it off, yeah. Get away from the telly, get away. I don't know. But man, what a crazy! I can't believe that happened so long ago.
Yeah, 23 years ago.
And this week in history, oh my god, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Triple H walking out on Dynamite, the name on the contract's Levesque. Imagine, can you imagine? These people should all start working together. They should start working the community. It looked great. 1988, another one from Dark Side of the Ring, and one of the most notorious incidents of wrestling history. International star Bruiser Brody is stabbed to death after wrestling a show by Puerto Rico. Of course, we've seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode of it. Absolutely crazy. What a wrestler and what a character, I have to say. This week, 2001 as well, the fabulous Freebirds lost Terry Gordy, who sadly died at the age of 40 from a blood clot causing a heart attack. Very sad. What a when we talk about factions, the fabulous Freebirds lads, what an entrance, what music, Michael Hayes and everything, all absolutely crazy those times down in Texas with the Von Erichs. 2020 WWE taped the cinematic swamp fight match between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt that aired on the horror show at Extreme Rules pay-per-view. That was this week as well.
That was awful. I remember that.
I love that match.
This is nearly as tragic as those boys getting the tag straps the other day. Don't get me started.
We'll touch on that next week.
Yeah.
2011, WWE held one of their most acclaimed pay-per-view events of all time when Money in the Bank 2011 took place at the All-State Arena in Chicago, Illinois. The event was heavily built on CM Punk challenging John Cena for the WWE Championship in Punk's hometown of Chicago. And of course, remember Punk winning the belt and Vince emptying out the locker room and Vince and Punk going through the crowd and holding up the belt. And remember, he said he gave the line he was going to win the belt and shag off of it. I might even bring it to ROH and all this kind of thing. And then 2 weeks later, he was back up the WWE. Yeah, it never happened, but that's what he should have done. Right, some notable birthdays, and of course, LFG coach Bubba Ray Dudley, 1971, celebrates his birthday this week. Big shout out to Bubba. 1983, Heath Slater. I got kids.
I need this job.
He needs those birthday cards this week, folks, with money in them. He's got kids. The Body, 1951, Jesse Ventura celebrates his birthday this week, along with 1942, Mil Mascaris, and 1976, Bobby Lashley. 1976, that makes Bobby, 49, is it?
That's mental.
And he still looks...
He looks younger than me.
49. Those good genetics. And we rounded out with a very sad one, Sean. We've spoke about it before a number of times. 1975, Daphne passed away. Or this week, she would be celebrating her birthday from 1975. Very tragic. We've seen the episode and stuff like that, so a tragic way to go and stuff like that. One that could have probably been prevented. Let me see, what else have I got here to finish it out? Keith's in. I remember watching it live and my jaw dropped when I saw Eric Bischoff. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, absolutely. Booker T. Road Wild 1997 week. Jesus, give over, Acers, will you?
Yeah.
You lead me down that path for.
That's us,
right,
cancelled.
folks. That's it. Another show in the bag. Another bundle of shows reviewed. Bit of history. Little bit of breath. And all that good stuff. So if you could, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like. These guys are giving up their personal time to sit in rooms, sweating in this heat, to preview and review these shows week in, week out and stuff like that. The least you can do is like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, get everything growing, I should say. I will be back on Thursday night with Darren for Thursday Tier Talk, one of our favourite shows of the season, where we review all the new football kits for the Premier League. Always a fun show to do and stuff like that. But until next time, enjoy the wrestling. We will be back next week. Probably a little flavour of Slammiversary and whatever else. We're on the road to the biggest party of the summer as well, no doubt. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens with Seth as well and what way they're going to go. But until next time, folks, from me, Sean Mack, Brian, Sean O. Lads, pleasure as always. Talk to you again real soon.
Thank you very much. See you all hopefully very soon.